G'day geeks, my name is Chris, and in this video I'm showing a bunch of stuff that I got from Collector Zone recently. So I've been to Collector Zone a few times in the last couple of years. They have a wonderful array of comics and toys and all manner of goodness, so I've got a lot of stuff to show. So let's get straight into it. Collector Zone goodies. It's hard to walk away with just a handful of stuff at Collector Zone. There's just so much stuff on offer, and we'll go through these one by one. But very quickly, at the back we have the Ninja Turtle Sewer Lair, the Funko Bitty Pop version. We've got Ernie from NECA, new Sesame Street figure. Maybe I'll grab Bert at some point as well. Right at the back we have one of the Pacific Rim figures. So it comes with a diorama and a monster and a comic. That was $15 from McFarlane Toys. I thought, why not? A vintage Transformers catalogue, a stack of comics. This is another Funko Bitty Pop. This is from the arcade kind of cool. So it's like a little arcade machine. This is a Star Wars one. I've seen these. These are the blockies. I've seen these pop up on my socials. They're like blind bag kind of kits, and you build them together. So I don't know what's inside. Very cool to open that up. And similar, we've got Craniacs. I also saw that on Collector Zone's Instagram, and they're kind of like a newer version of Garbage Pail Kids cards. There's a lot of stuff. Let's open every single one of them up right now. A very simple figure here from NECA. I think these were unveiled at San Diego Comic-Con last year, potentially. So yes, they're releasing a bunch of Sesame Street characters. Limited articulation, but very much on model. And you know, whose childhood wasn't shaped by Sesame Street in some way? So his head moves, and his head moves, and just that arm moves as well. Bit of a pointing hand. No waist or leg articulation. The other hand moves a bit as well. But yeah, it's pretty remarkable how they've managed to capture these characters in such a small action figure form like this. And he comes obviously with his very cute little rubber ducky as well. No articulation obviously for the rubber duck. And I love the background as well. Just the card back is worth saving. And with the familiar cartoonified, I guess, version of the Sesame Street. And then you flick it over, and you could use that for a bit of a backdrop as well if you like. So again, a more cartoony animated look at Sesame Street as well. So it's pretty cool that they threw in a backdrop, because yeah, it's pretty cool. A nice little touch. So yeah, not a overly complicated figure, but you know, I do have a animated series kind of shelf in my toy room with various 80s and whatnot cartoon representation on there. So Ernie will fit right in with those. I don't know if I'll get any more, but I recently did pick up some Sesame Street Ushies, so these will go along with that quite well. Yeah, this is the Bitty Pop arcade machine, and there's a few different themed ones. This is the Star Wars one, so it looks like the old 70s, 80s arcade cabinet. The back opens up, and then the tiny little Funko Bitty Pop that it comes with basically just slides in the top there. So you'll see a couple of little grooves, and tiny, very cute little Luke Skywalker with the little 8-bit kind of style. It's very cute. So he basically slides in the grooves there. And this just fits on the bottom, and then it looks like Luke is actually inside the arcade machine himself. So yes, you'll see a couple of slots there, and he just fits right in. And I did notice this doesn't fit right in there, so you kind of have to turn it sideways, but that's okay. And then you close that, and you've got a Funko kind of faithful interpretation of the original Star Wars arcade machine with Luke there. None of the buttons or the joystick works obviously, but you've even got down the bottom there the little coin meter and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it looks pretty awesome. I love this. Very cute indeed. I've actually got a bit of a video game shelf, so this will fit right in with that. The instructions are on the back if you ever get stuck, but it's pretty easy. But yeah, very cute little Star Wars arcade Bitty Pop. Collector Zone probably have the most impressive and expansive range of comics, and I could spend all day just rifling through their back issue bins. They've got a lot of good stuff. So I don't really have a game planned. I kind of know in my head what I'm missing and what issues I need, so I'm basically just filling in gaps at this stage, and I do use the CLZ comic app, which is very useful. But yes, Sovereign 7, so that was a very obscure DC title in the 90s, so I'm getting closer with filling in the gaps of my collection. So that was by Chris Claremont and Dwayne Turner, a couple of heavy hitters. So yeah, I think this was 90s, perhaps early 2000s as well. Didn't last too long, but I'm getting closer to filling the gaps in my collection. This is the first issue of The Spectre, one of the, I think this is from the 80s, yep, 1987. And I love the font, and I love the art. And yeah, Spectre is another one of those obscure DC heroes, which I do love. Also, I picked up this, which is a Mike Mignola cover. Mike Mignola is the creator of Hellboy, so whenever I see a DC cover written by or drawn by Mignola, I always grab that because he didn't do a ton of them, and he's a wonderful artist. I'm glad I saw this. This is a 3-pack. I got all 3 issues for $40, and this is the Untold Legend of the Batman, which kind of looks at his origin and whatnot. And I've had my eye on this series for a while, so it's only 3 issues, so they had the whole run there, which is great. Untold Legend of the Batman. And picked up a couple of Australian comics as well. Don't actually have any Killaroos. Killaroo has been around for a while, so I thought it's a wonderful cover. It's had quite a few different issues and one-shots and miniseries over the years. So that's Killaroo. Lovely cover. And similarly, Outlaw, so another Australian comic. And finally, they do have a good selection of 1980s comics. So this is from Murray Comics. I think this is from 1980, and they're basically just oversized black and white reprints of DC comics of the time. So yes, if we look at a standard size, they're slightly bigger. And this one has Dial H for Hero, so a whole bunch of obscure characters inside here. It's all just black and white. That's a good time. So yes, a lovely selection of comics from Collector Zone. I was at the counter ready to pay, and then I saw this, which is a Transformers catalogue insert from 1986. I do have the one from 1985, but yeah, just at the counter they had a little box with different catalogues and paper products, paraphernalia from the 80s and stuff. So yeah, this is so nostalgic. So you've got the photography of all the robots in the robot mode and vehicle or beast or whatever mode. So this side is all the Autobots, and then you flip it over and you've got the Decepticon side. And that is just so awesome because it kind of, as a kid I remember, these are the ones I want, and ticking off the ones we had, and Christmas or birthday time, you'd always write these down. So yes, it's got a little bio of the characters and kind of groups them into what they are, and a handy little checklist. So this is a very clean, obviously it's all folded, that's how what they would have came in the 80s. But yeah, there's no marks or anything on it, so I'm pretty impressed. So very glad I grabbed this wonderfully nostalgic Transformers catalogue. Sticking with the Transformers theme, look at this wonderfully chromy kind of hollow foil box. So yeah, these blockies, I've seen there's quite a few versions of these, and they're quite readily accessible. So I think this might be Series 2, I'm not too sure. But yes, you don't know what you're going to get. So it could be Grimlock, could be Starscream, could be any of the characters on the back there. I can't handle the suspense. Let's open this up, see who's inside. It took me a moment to realise that this was the robot version of Grimlock rather than the dinosaur version. So I started putting together this, and I was like, hang on, I don't have all the pieces for this, but it's actually this one. So yes, and you'll also notice that it doesn't have the instructions for the whole thing. It's like, how do you put the legs together? How do you put the shoulders together? And that seems to be standard for all of these on the instructions. But I figured it out. It's relatively simple. They all have little ball joints that click in, and then you basically just go from there. But yeah, very detailed. I actually like these. I don't know if I'll get any more, but pretty cool. They come with a little stand, blocky stand, and yeah, they're kind of like little action figures basically, with all the ball joints. Very detailed. All the pieces just snap together. That's his arms on the back for the Dino Bot version. It's got a little gun, face, you know, colourful, all that kind of stuff. His hips move as well. So yeah, actually quite poseable, quite articulated. Comes with a couple of extra hands as well, so we can have the grip hands or the just the normal punchy hands. And he also comes, that's pretty tiny, but two of these. So there's an Autobot signal on one side and a Decepticon on the other. The instructions say that you can basically just plug these anywhere there's a hole, so I guess that could be like somewhere on there, but it looks a bit weird. I was hoping that might be, you'd be able to put them on these stands, but these holes are too big for that. But that's cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty good. For how poseable they are for their size, I'm pretty impressed. And yeah, there's quite a few different options as you can see there. So here we go. This is my first Blockies, and this is a Grimlock in his robot mode. Collector Zone had a couple of these rather large packages for Pacific Rim, the movie that came out in 2013. Can you believe it? That long ago. So this is obviously one of the monsters, one of the kaiju, and it comes with a little diorama and a comic. And I think all of this was only 10, maybe $15. So that kind of made me want to get it. I'm always on the lookout for Dungeons Dragons creatures and minis, so that certainly fits the bill. And the fact that it comes with a breakable skyscraper, a couple of little, almost looks like micro machines, and a comic, which is pretty awesome, and the chunky packaging, which is pretty interesting, with a bit of info and stats on the creature itself, the Tachi, is that what it's called? So yeah, pretty cool, interesting, almost deluxe style packaging. But let's crack open this creature. This is the comic that it comes with, which is Pacific Rim Aftermath number 3, so issue 3, produced by Legendary Comics, and obviously since it's a McFarlane toy, there's a couple of McFarlane toy ads in the back, but obviously this just carries on the story from Pacific Rim and its sequel, and it's got a couple of short stories in there. So I guess if you collect the entire line of action figures, you get all of the individual comics, like issue 1 and 2 and however many others there may be, but that's a nice little throw in as well. So there we go. Now on to the toys itself. It's pretty cool. You do get a lot of stuff apart from the comic. You also get a couple of little vehicles, so the little jet with a couple of missiles on there. I don't know if it's to scale, but they look cool anyway, or just done in one colour. And a troop carrying kind of helicopter, I guess. The copters don't spin or anything, but yeah, it's pretty cool just to get a couple of vehicles that go with the actual skyscraper itself. The creature, the kaiju, is pretty cool. I love the colours, the blues and the reds and stuff. It's pretty flexible material, so all the little bits on his horn are pretty flexible, so it's not hard, which is good. So his arms and his legs move, so you can get him into some pretty cool poses for sure. And yeah, relatively detailed for how small he is. Interesting creature designs from the films, very Japanese, kind of Godzilla inspired obviously, but yeah, pretty awesome. So I think I'll use this for my Dungeons & Dragons as well. And yeah, it's a bit of a breakaway diorama, so again, don't know if that's to scale, but you basically get a little well, 1, 2, 3 sections and a little plate with a little street scene that this skyscraper can sit on top of, so that's nice. And they all break apart into rather 4 sections, just relatively hollow inside, and they've got a little bit more detail on the inside, but yeah, they all just kind of fit together like that. And yeah, the creature can attack the skyscraper, and you can get some cool dioramas in your toy shelf. So a fair bit of stuff in this package, pretty interesting. You've got the Craniacs here, which are the trading cards. I think that deserves their own video, so I'll do a video of them later. There's 7 packs in there. I haven't opened them, so goodbye for now, Craniacs. But we will look at the sewer lair from the Ninja Turtles. So obviously there was a classic sewer lair playset released in the 80s, which I had, and has just been re-released, which is pretty awesome, but very similar to the Luke Skywalker little mini pops. In here we've got a Michelangelo and a Leonardo, and they also come out as well. But this is a very portable sewer lair playset, very similar to the one in the 80s and what we see from the cartoon. So you've got the kitchen, you've got the little TV with April O'Neil there, got a bit of a training area, and the sewers with the little, sewer-like waste. Ew, gross. Radioactive waste, I would assume that it's green. And it's very portable, and you just flick it over like that, and there we go. So very cool. So if you just want to play with something on a trip or whatever, you can certainly take this. It's very easy to carry. So a pretty cool sewer lair playset that just opens up like that, and obviously the little Leo and Mike can come out and just go in there. So a pretty little cool thing. Another little bitty pop, very detailed, very cartoon aesthetic, but yes, pretty cool indeed. And if you do have a lot of Ninja Turtles on your shelf, this will kind of add a nice little colour and cuteness to the shelf. So there we go, portable sewer lair.